Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to a game called Our Life. It's been a little bit of time since we last played this game, but let's just get right into it, shall we? And last we left off, we did Baxter's Hangouts, and when I recorded the Hangout with Cove, it was the same thing that I could tell. So I'm not gonna bother re-showing you the same text or anything, so let's just get right into ending the summer. Are you sure? Yes. Moths bounce against your window, attracted by the light of your room. A siren called in the window's slowly darkening sky. Just as the day was coming to an end, so too would summer. Liz would be moving back into the dorms before long. Luckily, Lee had been able to come to stay for a short trip before her own new journey began. She had officially been accepted to do her first college choice a few weeks ago. This was her last chance to see you all in person for... You flick through the plans for the next few months, realizing that you don't even know when you'll have the next opportunity for everyone to be in the same place again. It was hard to think that you would likely be seeing even less of your cousin going forward, but you were delighted that she was pursuing her dreams. While you were still with each other, your family was going to have dinner together. As ever, the Holdens were tagging along too. You're going to the Chinese restaurant. It was somewhere your family had always enjoyed going ever since you and Liz were tiny. That long-standing connection made the fitting location for the final meal out before Liz and Lee got set off again. Technically, you were getting ready to go out, though your mind was only half on the task. It was a pleasantly warm evening, and the kind that epitomized the vacation feeling, and you were in no mood to spoil it by rushing around. While idly gazing at your room, you spotted a small cluster of unopened envelopes that must have been left by your parents earlier. You headed over to the table to flick through anything of interest. As a child, any correspondence felt exciting due to the rarity. You recognize now that most of it was mundane, but you were checking any mail you got more regularly of late. There was something you were expecting. You stopped at a crisp white envelope. The logo proudly proclaimed the sender, a school you applied to. Took a deep breath and read it. This next step would take the nerve. You closed your eyes as you breathed deep. The air slipped through your lungs as you opened your eyes once more. You pulled apart the glue flap on the front of the envelope and extracted the letter. Your eyes darted over the message, rushing past the pleasantries to go to the heart of the matter. The blood pounding in your ears, deafening to the world outside that it was contained within these letters. Your heart skidded to a halt as you read your verdict. You've been accepted. You could hardly believe it. Overwhelmed, dizzy with nerves and excitement, you had to repeat the outcome back to yourself, eyes locked on the message as if afraid the words might contort into something different. You had to tell your family right away. You turned down the steps, your feet barely touching the ground as you leapt from one step to the next. Your arrival, which compensated for excessive speed by creating a riot of noise, caught Mom's attention. Someone's hungry. Her eyes twinkling amused as she left you catch your breath. So what's the rush for? It's not for food. I got into college. Mon whooped, holding out a hand for a high five.
You're fantastic!
Nice, Luna. The commotion had summoned the other women from various corners of the house. Liz looked up from her book, grinning as Lee hurried over. Ma swept in from the side, wrapping an arm around your shoulder and squeezing you close.
Good job.
It's wonderful, sweetie. Hey, let me in on the hug. She wrapped her arms around you both, without waiting for an invitation. Liz, her book neatly abandoned on the floor, tapped her hands in applause as she walked up to you. Good job, Luna. Lee didn't hide her excitement, openly jumping for joy as she treated you to a thunderous applause.
Seriously?
It's amazing. You're gonna be amazing. That's nice, but you shouldn't just stand there. Yeah, there's room for everyone. Your moms opened up the hug, both keeping an arm around you as they each held out another to invite Liz and Lee in. Giggling, Lee dove into the hug. Liz rolled her eyes, but allowed herself to be beckoned into the group hug. Your mom squeezed everyone together tightly. Mom's long hair brushed against your face as you turned to check on the clock.
Let's go!
We can take this party on the road. We gotta head out for dinner soon. Nodding, you are aware that your attempts to finish getting ready had been cast aside in favor of congratulating you. I have to do a couple of more things first. It won't take long. You hurried back upstairs, though getting ready was out of the issue at hand. Though getting ready to go out was the issue at hand, you couldn't stop your thoughts from drifting back to the future. Your mind was buzzing over the news that you received everything that would soon unfurl. Everyone piled into the car. Well, it was marketed as being suitable to hold 5 people. In practice, it made for a very tight fit. Your mom sitting in the front were fine. You, Liz, and Lee were squished in the back. Lee in the middle, wedged between you and your sister. But Mom was an excellent timekeeper. Thanks to her efforts, you pulled up near the restaurant on time. The process of getting out of the car was slightly easier than squeezing into it, much less coordination required to release seatbelts than secure them. Gave Lee a hand as she clambered out of the middle seats, then headed into the building as a group. A waiter greeted you as you entered. Mom let him know how many of you there would be in total as you went to arrange a table that met your needs. He returned promptly to guide you to your seats. You perched comfortably in your chairs, your head aloft as if buoyed by today's good fortune. Your family settled down around you, all cheerful and looking forward to the evening ahead. Your drinks had been taken when the Holdens came through the door. They were pointing in your direction, though with Mom waving an arm in the air as it was hardly necessary. Cove and Mr. Holden came to join your table. As greetings were exchanged, Cove took a seat opposite to you, and had been left empty by an unspoken acknowledgement that you and Cove would want to be sitting next to each other. Mr. Holden stood beside him.
Hi!
It's great to see you. Glad you could make it. Hello, everyone. You wouldn't believe how hungry I am.
I see.
Came to the right place, then. There was some laughter, though Liz groaned playfully, shaking her head at Mom's sense of humor. Growing up, she have complained, and Mom would have responded by making another comment. Liz had mellowed out over the years, but she still showed a show of despairing at Mom's jokes. Her reaction to them had become a joke in its own right. Menus were soon passed around, and a temporary hush fell over the table as everyone read. It didn't last long, punctured by comments about what people had eaten here before, and light chatter about what people were considering tonight. Once the waiter had disappeared with your orders, Cove piped up.
Okay.
So I got some good news. Kira's making a trip out here tomorrow. Cove nodded, turning to his father to the rest of the table. Yeah, we talked about it, and we figured it was a good time for everyone.
Very nice.
That's great. Everyone reacted positively to the news, though Mom looked wistful.
That's a shame.
If only we'd known. Here we are having a big meal without her. If we waited one day, she could have joined us. Mom patted Ma on the back, gently nudging her from the realm of possibilities and what-ifs, back to the evenings that was going so well. Chin up, Lee and Liz will still be here tomorrow. We'll just have to throw another get-together and keep the fun train chugging along. Ma smiled warmly, Mom's hand in hers. That's true. There's plenty to celebrate right now, but there'll be more good news and good times on the horizon.
Right.
Right, and speaking of, that's not all we got either. Mr. Holden's eyes were alight as he sat up straight in his chair, face angled toward his son. He barely let a beat go by before nudging Cove with his elbow, pushing him to follow up on the announcement. It was the very picture of a proud papa. Cove shied from the limelight, ducking his head down and staring at his lap as he spoke.
Well,
I switched over to working full-time instead of only part-time. Plus, I've been looking at apartments. There's a few I can choose from. He flicked his gaze up at everyone around the table. A smile creeped over his face. I'll be pretty busy going forward. Apartments. He was moving. Cove was going to be moving out of his dad's house. After 10 years, he wasn't going to be your neighbor anymore. Mr. Holden gripped one of Cove's shoulders and gave it a loving shake. His excitement couldn't be contained. Incredible. Cove's actually going to be making to adulthood. It's a miracle. Mr. Holden leaned back in his chair, staring up at the ceiling in mock wonder.
I'm so glad.
I wasn't convinced I'll be able to rear a kid all the way up to this point, but thankfully I lucked out and got the best boy a dad could ask for. Dad. Cove blinked to his vision with his hand on the side of his face, temporarily blocking his father from sight. Despite his genuine bashfulness, which left him unable to meet anyone's eyes after all the attention thrust his way, he was happy.
thanks.
lucky too. You're a good dad.
Aw.
Aw, come here. Miss Alden threw an arm around Cove's neck, pulling up to a close hug as the seating allowed. He rubbed his cheek on the top of his son's head while Cove chuckled, accepting the affection with good humor. Ma leaned over and whispered in ear, her fingertips brushing against her cheeks. Would you like to tell Cove and Mr. Holden what you told us earlier? Sure. You tapped your glass with your fork, something that you've seen done in movies when people wanted attention. It didn't make quite the same noise, possibly because your glass was tumbler and not a champagne flute, but everyone looked in your direction anyway. I got something to announce as well. Of course. Got my acceptance letter today. I'll be going to college soon. Mr. Holden gave you a thumbs up.
Good kid.
Impressive. You're a good kid. The world's your oyster. Cove grinned at you from across the table.
Seriously?
It's amazing. It's incredible. You did it. Congratulations, Luna. Thanks. No, seriously, this is really, really big, and you deserve it so much. You looked around the other faces of the company here. You've been going on this journey with everyone here for years, seeing them falter and grow, and had watched you grow throughout the same. Cove was leaving his family home. Liz was heading back to college while Lee was starting at hers. You're staying close, but it's clear you're all heading in different directions to different destinations. Some near, some far, but it wouldn't be long until you're all going your own way. It was bittersweet. You turned your head to the side, wistful, not wanting to spoil the evening with your troubles. You're glad that everyone was succeeding, but the idea of splitting up gave you a twinge of regrets. These people had been key pillars in your life. Days ahead without them, no matter how bright and shiny, felt a little empty, like a theme park after closing time. But you focused your mind on the sweet side. New adventures were still ahead, and you can encourage the optimism. Cove brought some attention to himself with the clearing of his throat and a small interjection. I'm gonna go stretch my legs while we're waiting for the food and everything.
Sure.
Sure thing, bud. With a tiny smile, he nodded at his dad, but the lightness to his expression faded when he moved to face you. Wanna come? He was attempting to be subtle, but there was very obviously something on his mind, something he wanted to talk to you about alone. You watched him with concern as he rose from your seats. Yeah, I'll go. Take care. With those parting words, the two of you walked about the place. He was actually trying to get far away from everyone as possible, without actually exiting the building. What did he need to say? He hadn't admitted that was He hadn't admitted that was what this was about, but he didn't need to. Cove started pulling on the hem of his shirt. He turned his head back to face you, but it was an awkward movement. Well, I wanted to talk to you one-on-one about all this, about my work, moving. I mean, it was coming before, but now it's pretty much here. Yeah, it's exciting. Cove stopped picking at his shirt, and he seemed to respond well to that response. He was relieved that you weren't upset by it. I'm glad you think so. But then he looked down and his brows furrowed. You saw his hand shift away from his clothes and instead rub at his arm. Are you looking forward to it? I am.
I mean,
well, I'm trying to be. He ducked his head further as you saw his face start to redden. But it's scary. I don't want things to end. Come on, you don't need to worry. It may be scary now, but it'll be worth it. Not sure. That's not a sure thing. Cove then turned his head away and wrapped his arms around himself. He felt a sudden chill that definitely wasn't caused by the air conditioner. It's what's happening, What I talked about earlier this summer. The world isn't going to keep us together anymore. It'll all be up to us now. But everything's going to be okay, right? We're still going to be okay? Kept calm. You understood his concern. It was definitely hard to imagine what would happen. However, you didn't let yourself get upset. I don't know, but it's gonna be alright. You couldn't know the future, so you didn't have any definite answers. That being said, you still believed that you'd make it through somehow. You had to. Cove laughed with a delicate smile on his face. Okay, you win. I want to prepare myself for the horrifying unknown, but you're kind of giving me no choice but to be optimistic here. His eyes sparkled with mischief. Strong armor. He snickered. Cove rolled his eyes and tried not to smile. Thanks to listening to me, Luna, it helped. He felt pleased that his anxieties had eased after talking out. I think it's time to rejoin the party. Do you feel like heading back?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's what we're doing here. Probably be good. With a matching smiles, you both reclaimed your seats at the table. Both of you felt light on and chilled.
Mm-hmm.
You seem happy. What was that? Yeah, it seemed like you were having quite the conversation over there. Save yourself. Sorry. I used to be your neighbor. You waved off their questions and you didn't offer any explanations. They still seemed curious, but that caught that Cove wanted to stay between the two of you and let it drop. Things relaxed and you took a sip of your drink. Lee idly tapped the table and got your attention. I'm so excited to try this place. I hadn't been here in a long time. I hope it's good as I remember. All the restaurants in this area are pretty top-notch in my humble opinion. You'll see. It was a challenge issued. Liz carried herself like some sort of professional food critic, and Mom snorted. Tough crowd, geez, Liz. Ma giggled and chimed in as well, much to Liz's embarrassment. That's right, Lizzie, jeez. Oh, jeez, Louise. You shook your head and not at all the silliness. Why was your family like this? Jeez. Everyone burst out laughing, besides Liz, of course. She smirked. No one could ever accuse of your family of being no fun. Night fell soon after everyone finished their meals, and before you knew it, you were standing in the parking lot, saying your goodbyes and packing up the cars to go home. After the last chores were done, your family spent some time together. You then had some extra time, and you decided to try calling Jeremy. It had been a while since you got his number from Shilio, but you never actually attempted to reach out again so far. You thought this might be a good moment to go for it. You had absolutely no idea how the conversation would go. The furious boy you known was very different to the resigned teenager you spoke to this summer. You waited for him to pick up, ready for whatever he sprung on you this time. Your first call ended unanswered, but at least expected that much. Jeremy certainly ignored the unknown number. You dialed, waiting for him to pick up. After another extended dial tone sequence, the sound finally replaced with a slow yawn. Hello? Hi, I hope I'm not bothering you.
You're actually doing this?
Luna, haven't you suffered enough? There is none of the fear which rained down in the past, only bewilderment. I just want to see how you're doing. Sigh. Why is this happening? You knew that he knew probably what led to this call. You didn't have to explain, and he proved that shortly after with a real sigh. Whatever. Did Shilio ever explain his lying self? Yeah, it worked out. Alright then. The conversation came to a halt. You asked him a question. Is everything been going okay for you?
Nope.
Life is a misery. You laughed. To your surprise, Jamie piped up with a question for you. Are you that bored, or do you honestly have some kind of interest in me as a person? Who cares?
Sigh.
Then you heard another yawn coming from down the line. Thanks for talking to me. Expected the call to end there, but even had the thumb hovering over the button to finish the call, and Jeremy stopped before he stopped.
Bye.
I think it's weird we actually talked to each other yet again. It makes no sense. But it's not worth having a problem with. Bye. With that, he hung up. It had gone better than expected, and there was truth in what he said. Who would have thought that you would reconnect like this? Life was full of surprises. You didn't have a problem with it either. There's still time left in the evening, so decided to check in on Cilio too. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but thought of Cilio both as a central figure in your early childhood and as the person you come to know since then, and he brought up his number on your phone. You picked up within a few rings. Hi, Luna. His voice was as preppy as ever. You wondered if everyone who got such an excitable greeting. Hey, man.
This is so great.
So great to hear from you. I hope you're doing okay. He raised his voice at the end, turning the statement into a question. Yeah, I just want to see how you're doing.
Aww.
Really appreciate you keeping in touch like this. You must be so busy now. Oh, before I get, my mom says hi. She's still sad that she wasn't able to see the Mayer family herself. You should both come back sometime. It'd be nice to have everyone back where it started. Yeah. Keter the soft smile in his voice, even if he couldn't see it. She was mostly just happy that I got to have a little reunion with you all, and that it went pretty well in the end. He laughed again, firmly closing the lid on that discussion.
Yeah.
Anyways, you and your family in Cove are always welcome to come visit us here. That'll be fun. With everything going on, it was highly unlikely that you'll be able to accept that invitation. Cielo knew that. He was probably just being nice, as he preferred to be. But as a thought, we can meet that group of yours. You grinned, imagining Shirley with his posse of unfriendables.
Great!
Awesome. Let me know whenever you're in the area. His voice was upbeat, almost as if he's been energized by the idea and your openness to it. Well, I shouldn't take up too much of your time. Thanks for reaching out, though. Take care. Sheila chuckled briefly. Bye. You hung up, feeling pleased that you could simply talk to Sheila like this. It was sweet to hear a little from his mom, too, even if it was just message second hands. The rest of the night felt like it was going to be a blink of an eye, and somehow the time came for you to return to sleep. You pulled your covers up to your chin and settled down for the night, getting warm and cozy. As your head sank into your pillow and you closed your eyes, your mind drifted back to everything that happened that day. You could see it all now, behind your eyelids, as though you were experiencing it all over again. And then the image of Cove popped into your head, and you smiled softly to yourself. Wanted to sneak out over to his room. I mean, he's done it all this time. Why can't we go over to him? If Cove could do it, then you didn't see why you shouldn't be allowed to. You made up your minds. As quietly as you could manage, you put on your shoes and slipped out of your room, closing the door behind you softly. Heading down slowly, you took care not to make the floors creak, especially the boards right by the bathroom. Those definitely squeaked. The stillness of your night made even the slightest sound seem so much more louder to your ears, and you were very aware that your moms were sleeping nearby. Upon reaching the bottom, you tiptoed toward the front door. Slipping out to the crisp night air, you shut the door and took a relieving breath. Excitement rising, you dashed across the street toward Cove's house. The road was too surreal at this hour, familiar yet strange. It might have been eerie at another time, but with how eager you were, you hardly cared. You attempted to find your way to the normal footpath to the side of the condo, but limited light was making it difficult. You knew for sure which window was Cove's, and lucky for you, it was the first floor. Unlike Cove, you wouldn't have to do any building scaling. All you needed to do now was to make it safely over the fence and past the bushes without being caught or injured. Sneaking closer, you glanced over the hedges towards Cove's bedroom's window, finding it cracked open. Perfect. In real life, do not do this. This is not an actual thing you should do in real life. Please don't actually do it. You would not have had knocked in, worried about him not answering. Hoisting yourself up with ease, you cleared the fence and avoided the shrubs, then darted over to the window. Again, please do not do this in real life. This is not a thing you should do. You buzzed with a nervous excitement and energy as you approached in the dark, having successfully made it all the way here unseen. Lifting up the window so it was fully open, you pushed yourself halfway through, your legs dangling into the underbrush below. It was a little awkward as a small shelf was right in the way. You had to take care not to knock over a couple plants, but you made it through with minimal noise. Oh, and one of them was a cactus too. Ugh. Once inside, you dusted yourself off and turned back to close the window gently, with only a soft glow of moonlight and Cove's fish tank there to see the way. Gave a small wave to the special fish you got to name, Ladybug. Then, straining your eyes through the dark, you crept through Cove's bed, barely making out the sleeping figure underneath the covers. By the sound of his soft breathing, you could tell that he hadn't heard you come in, and the small smile tugged at your lips. You left him to sleep and sat beside him. He looked so peaceful as he slept, you decided that he didn't have the heart to wake him up. Instead, you took a seat at the edge of your bed and watched him affectionately, matching your breast to his own deep breathing and smiling down at him. You weren't sure what you were going to do now that you were there, but you were happy to be near Cove all the same, even if he was fast asleep. Gaze drifted around the darkened room, even if in daylight hours you'd recognize it. The darkness made it just seem a little bit different and intriguing. Your eyes stopped for a moment at the fish tank against one wall, and you watched his precious pets float around for a moment, finally settled out on the window. It looks like there's like fireflies dancing around the room. Maybe you should just head home. Contemplated it, trying to make it be mine, till Cove stirred and rolled over, bumping right into you. Huh? He turned just as his eyes fluttered open, still heavy with sleep, and he looked right at you.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. He pulled his covers back up under his chin and rolled over again the other way, settling back in. You snickered quietly to yourself as you sat there. He could figure it out on his own, and after a few more seconds, he did. Wait, Luna? Yes, you need something? You shuffled from under the covers and shut up to stare at you in alarm.
What?
Why are you in my room? What happened? His smile slipped onto your face as he finally registered your presence for real. You hug him. Leaning forward, you wrapped your arms around Cove, feeling him freeze for a brief moment. When he relaxed and hugged you back softly, you let out a small sigh.
It's okay.
It doesn't really matter why you came. It's okay. You held him back for a little while longer, letting his hug relax you, until he pulled him back and looked at him gently. I should have known you would do this one of these days. It's only fair. You let out a breath, feeling relieved that he didn't seem bothered by it. In fact, it felt kind of good. You thought maybe this enthusiasm was why Cove did it so often. He pushed himself up fully, swinging his legs over the side of the bed and leaving a spot for you to sit beside him. His hands shook when he yelled them in his lap. He was nervous. You sat beside him happily, waiting for him to speak first. You can say as long as you want. Really? Yeah, really. How long do you want me to say?
I don't know.
Well, to be honest, I don't know. I don't feel like having you go at all. I'm not sure that I would. Okay, I won't go anywhere. His face lit up as he settled in even more. I'd secretly slept over in your house before. It's fair you get to do it too. You snickered, feeling pleased with your decision to do this. Okay, but there's no way I'm letting you take the floor this time. Here we go again. You rolled your eyes and let out a small laugh, which Cove returned as he rubbed at the back of his neck. You should just share the bed. He thought it through for a moment before suddenly throwing his hands in the air. Why not? We might as well make the most of this sleepover. Yes! And flicked the tip of his nose. You snickered quietly and attempted to do the same for you, but you quickly buried your face in your pillow, so he lightly tugged at your ear instead. Your neighbor looked at you happily and honestly content. The night stretched on, and you continued giggling and chatting absolutely everything except this room and each other. You felt so light again, like you were 8 instead of 18, and the only big decisions you had to make were who you were going to have for breakfast in the morning. Soon enough, your eyes began to grow heavy, and the conversation slowly came to an end as you both fell into a restful sleep side by side. Next morning, you woke up slowly from a comfortable dream. With some small stretch, you opened your eyes to the sun shining in through the window. Shuffling to your side, you noticed Cove still beside you in the bed, sleeping soundly. You smiled, remembering the prior night. It had been fun getting to spend the whole night together. Felt so lucky to have Cove as a friend. Then a loud noise suddenly startled you, and he snapped toward the source of the sound. It was the door opening abruptly, and in the frame stood Mr. Holden, smiling brightly. He hadn't seemed to notice you straight away, but at that, I think that's a good place to actually stop this. So let me save this here. Let me save that. Yeah, and with that, I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever it might lead you into the future. Bye, and hope to see you guys again next time.